Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Collision. Look, I would be lying if I said that I had a great time with this. To be honest, this is probably the most boring episode of Collision that I've ever seen. Last week we just celebrated a year of Collision, and then today I'm just feeling absolutely it was very underwhelming for me. It was a tape show. They taped it on Thursday, and something about it just didn't really give me what I really wanted, especially after Rampage last night, which was actually not bad of a show. I kind of felt like I enjoyed a lot of things, more things on Rampage last night in comparison to today. Just the vibe of it, man. The little things that used to set Collision aside from Rampage and Dynamite, it just doesn't feel like those things anymore. It just feels like you're just watching an extension of Rampage of all things, if anything. And that's that special thing about Collision is it's kind of gone. It's kind of gone for me. So y'all know they used to do the promos to open the show, and they just went straight into it. It was just like, "Hello, Saturday night is live for a fight. We got a match for y'all. We have Samoa Joe, Hook, Shibata versus the Premier Athletes. The Premier Athletes, holy moly, they are just in probably the best shapes of their lives. And we have Smart Mark Sterling, who's matching with them color wise with his suit. It was a cute look. But the match itself, it was entertaining. However, they, man, this is the thing. When they have that thing where they have their obvious chosen baby face group, they will make the heels dumb it down in terms of talent for whatever reason. So you don't really get the chance to see how talented the Premier Athletes are. And I'm just like, damn, this is an opportunity for those who don't watch Ring of Honor to really see the talent that I see in these guys. And unfortunately, this just was just not the time for y'all to see how great of athletes the Premier Athletes are. Shibata's team obviously ends up taking the win here via submission. And for me, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Shibata, I love you. I really do. Joe, I love you. Hook, he's there. And it's just like something about the group I know some people are liking. For me, it's not hitting the mark yet, but I can admit they are entertaining. I don't know where they're going with this whole group thing. I guess it almost feels like this is just something for them to do. After this, we do have, what's his name? The Bang Bang Gang. And Juice Robinson says that AEW is not recognizing him as Trios champion. So he can't defend the title. They're going to have to wait until Jay White get back, which is going to be on Dynamite next week. He's going to be going against Ray Fenix. This is for the Owen Hart Cup semifinals. So that's not semifinals, quarterfinals, sorry. And he's not putting the title on the line, obviously, for that. But at least we'll get to see Jay White, who's been missing in action for a little bit. After this, we have the Learning Tree and Big Bill versus Private Party. The number one thing that bothered me here, other than having to see Chris Jericho's face on a Saturday night, was Big Bill was wearing trunks and wrestling boots and knee pads. I felt like this was an episode of The Twilight Zone, and I'm just like, wait a minute, Big Bill, are you serious? He was not wearing his typical jeans and Timberland boots, which sets him off aside and give that New Yorker thing that I love. I love obviously seeing New Yorker wrestlers repping New York or whatever. And that was like a perfect way when it came with Big Bill to show that. And this time we just have him in trunks and boots and knee pads. And I'm just like, oh, bro, this is not for you. This look is not for you. But anyway, those abs, the body was right. The tan was right. Perfect. Other than that, this match, though, I'm sorry to say, in terms of wrestling, I have respect for Chris Jericho. He's a legend, and he's done so many wonderful things. But you can see how washed up he is here. Sorry to say, it was hard to enjoy, to see him, I felt like, struggle throughout this match. And then that will play a role with how the other wrestlers in the ring are performing as well. This, in terms of chemistry, since we're seeing for the first time Big Bill and Chris Jericho teaming up as a tag team, I just felt like this is just two people together in the ring. It did not give me tag team energy at all. And I'm just like, holy moly, I had all this time since the learning tree started for y'all to try to figure out what it is that you guys got going on, and really not much. Brian Keith, he is ringside, obviously not in the match, but he gets involved when he takes brass knuckles, and he hits one. I think Mark Quinn. I think he hits with it, and I'm looking at this, and I'm just like, oh well, there it is, the beginning of the end. And I'll say this: there was a lot of pins in this match. There was a lot of moments when you thought it was going to be over. This match was absolutely dragged out, and it was not that great to me at all. The match that Private Party had last night on Rampage with Commander and Metalik was so much better. I mean, miles better than what we got tonight. And I just could not get behind it. I'm absolutely over it. Jericho Big Bill takes the win. And when I say, like, there's nothing to be celebrating about, this match was not that great, at least to me. After this match, though, they end up beating up on Private Party. So then Hook, Shibata, and Samoa Joe, they come out to put the paws on them. They end up getting Shibata ends up getting Brian Keith maybe like an arm bar, and then steps on his arm, and then the doctors are taking a look to make sure he's alright. In whatever reason, I don't know what's going on here. And here comes Joe saying that he wants to have a 6-man tag match with their team and the other team. I'm just like, at Forbidden Door, how dare y'all put an AEW versus AEW match? And I said this, like, this is Forbidden Door. We don't need foolishness. It's supposed to be opposite companies versus each other. And so far, the only match that they have made an exception for is for the TNT title. And it makes sense. Everything, well, you know what? Not even, because we also have Leah Rush, who's representing New Japan, is in that match. So it's still a Forbidden Door type of match. Meanwhile, we have Jericho, Hook, and Shibata versus the Learning Tree people. No, not on this pay-per-view. Not feeling it. After this, we have Ultimo Guerrero versus Kazuchika Okada. And this is supposed to be a eliminator match. I originally thought this was for the title. Board.com. I was not feeling this. Something about it was just, there's a disconnect here between the two of them. Was it horrible? Not horrible, but it was just like, this is Okada we're talking about. We haven't actually truly seen Okada in the ring like that since he's been in AEW. He's just walking around with the Bucks, getting into foolishness, and not truly, given that Okada that we've known and loved in New Japan. And lately, it's just been, he's just there. He's there. He collected his $14.5 million. And that's pretty much it so far. He's had this title that's pretty much forgettable. Nobody really remembers a Continental title, to be honest. And it is what it is. It was a eliminator match. The match didn't have the chemistry that I was hoping for. Okada goes for the cliche, I'm taking off the Mexican man's mask, and that's going to help me win. And that helps him win. The mask comes off, and he ends up putting it. You don't see his face that well at first, but then ends up pulling it off again while he was laying down. And you got a chance to see like 80% of his face. He ends up taking the mask and covering his face. He's more concerned about keeping his face covered. So then that is an opportunity for Okada to pin him, because obviously he got to keep that face covered, and he ends up taking the win. Bored. Absolutely bored. After this, we have Lexi Neer. She's backstage with Top Flight. They congratulating Dante for being part of the ladder match. Action Andretti, he's over there, who's just over there. I was actually happy to see that they're letting Dante Martin speak. I would love to hear all the guys say something, but it's a little bit more of Dante's moment. He is in the TNT title match, a ladder qualifying match. And that's great. There are other people there. Do I see him winning? Probably not. He was saying that people were saying, don't go in a ladder match, because the last time he was in a ladder match, you broke your leg. Y'all remember that nasty break? I will never forget. One of the worst injuries I've ever seen in pro wrestling. It was horrible. So horrible. But anyway, they're like, people have been, saying don't be part of this match because of what happened last time. You won't get that bad juju on you, whatever. And he's like, you know what? I'm not scared. I'm prepared. I taught myself how to walk, how to run, and pretty much get back in this ring all over again. So he said he's good. But then here comes Leo Rush. Leo Rush looked like they just woke him up and said, hey, you on the next promo. And then he comes out And he is basically saying, we cool, I'm cool with you all or whatever, but don't forget, I'm going to be in this match too, and I'm going to do what it takes to win. Even though we cool, this is nothing personal. I want to get the TNT title. I don't believe he's going to win it. I don't even believe Dante's going to win it, but these two in this match is definitely what's going to elevate the quality of this match and give something a little bit different in comparison to the other guys in this match. So I'm happy to see that they're going to be on this. After this, they waste our time with the patriarchy versus Iron Savages. Christian, obviously our stepdaddy, he lets Nick Wayne and Kill Switch get in the ring while he and Mother Wayne go on commentary. And the whole night I kept saying, where the fuck is the commentary table? Where are the commentators? And they turned out to be on stage. And I thought that was a little bit weird because we normally don't get that. I thought they were doing commentary remotely, like what they do on Ring of Honor. Like literally they do commentary remotely on Ring of Honor. But anyway, Nigel gives up his seat for Mother Wayne to sit, and Christian is just yapping throughout the match, and I love it. And then Killswitch and Nick Wayne is basically on the 2-on-3 match, and it's an interesting match, but it wasn't really so fun to see because it just felt like, okay, we're just going to grab trios and just put them in the ring with. And Christian's on the commentary talking about, oh, since my shoulders was never down on the mat, I should be the world champion. All these things that he's doing on commentary, which was making things a little bit more interesting. But the match was just all right. And I'm seeing like throughout the night, the crowd is kind of seeming like they're not into it like that either. So for me, I don't know how I would have felt if I was over there. I would have still been trying to make some noise, try to hype it up a little bit. But it just felt a little flat for me. Once it seemed apparent that the patriarchy was going to take the win, that's when our stepdaddy gets off commentary, gets in the ring, goes for a kill switch to take the win for his team. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so we're just going to pretend that he was in the match this whole entire time? I absolutely love Christian. If they end up winning the trios titles, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. It's better than the Bang Bang Gang right now and whatever the hell they're doing. After this, we have Toni Storm and Mariah May versus Leela Hirsch and Lady Frost. Basically, they put two Ring of Honor girls together and put them in the ring on Collision. While this wasn't bad, I just couldn't get into it. So what can I say other than Toni Storm and Mariah ends up winning? And another thing, too, the predictability, I think, was a huge killer in this. You can see the whole lineup for the show, and you're just like, all right, so-and-so's going to win, so-and-so's going to win. And that's exactly what happens. And I think that really kills it. It really does, where it just feels like when you already know what's going to happen, it does put the mood down. And even if they end up having great matches, it's just like, okay, the baby faces or the popular people, why are they just always winning? Like other people on this roster can't win. It's the very same people who's winning night after night after night that are always winning still. And it's just like there's no off season of this. They're always going to be winning. And I just feel like that really makes it seem like, man, it's for a Saturday night, I'm wasting my motherfucking time watching this show. Now, yes, like I said, Toni Storm, Mariah takes the win. And it was great to see Lady Frost and Leela Hirsch on getting a little TV time. But I do wish that, this would have been under better circumstances and these girls can actually win on AEW TV. Now, after this, Serena Deeb yapping backstage, talking about how, she started off with an undefeated streak and then she ended up losing or whatever. And since then, she's been on a losing streak. And, she's opening an open challenge for next week. And I thought that was interesting. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. I'm bored with Serena. She needs some personality and something about it. There's just something lacking. And I really wish that there was a lot more going for her at this point. House of Black versus two dudes, MSG, and the other one was something SG as well. Whack, absolutely whack. It was just Brody and Malachi. This was over in 2 minutes maybe. And then after that, we had Ian Riccaboni for whatever reason on the show. And he went to ask them where the fuck is Buddy Matthews? And Malachi is just looking like, bitch, I'm not answering your question. He walks away. And then Brody talking about, oh, revenge is never a straight line. What does that even mean? Whatever. They obviously have no response, so he ends up leaving too. They just walk off, and I'm just like, okay, Buddy Matthews is at home with Rhea Ripley. If anything, he's living the life, and the rest of us are living mediocre lives. I guess he's winning at life. Now, after this, we do have Hechiseto versus Matt Menard. Matt Menard and this thing that he keep wrapping around his stomach and those pants that are definitely a size or two too small for him. Bro, what is this? Like, is this fashion with this wrap that's around his stomach? I don't even know what's going on. Is he really hurt? Whatever the situation is, if this is to gain sympathy from the fans, it's not working anymore, Matt. This was over fairly quick. And honestly, I'm watching this and I'm just like, why are we doing this? I felt nothing between the two of them. These guys are both great in what they do. But this just felt like, hey, you two are employed. Why don't y'all just get out there and do something? And people can't really get behind stuff like this. This is obviously for them to show a little something about Hechiseto, because a lot of people are not too familiar with him, and he's going to be going against our boy MJF at Forbidden Door, which I think is going to be a slobber knocker. But I mean, Matt Menard, Hechiseto, what you going to get from that? Not a damn thing. Hechiseto ends up taking the win here. And I'm over it. We did have Jeff Jarrett speaking on doing like an interview talking about his friendship and whatnot and him being in the Owen Hart tournament. So he's talking about, his time with Owen and how his death affected him. They do show a little part of it, but on YouTube, it's like a 10-minute thing. So it probably show like a minute or so of it on Collision, and then you can watch the rest on YouTube, on AEW's YouTube channel. It would really make you emotional to hear all these things. However, I don't know why you in this. I really don't. I feel like if they really wanted, with this alone will pull your heartstrings and make you feel like he should be in a tournament. But then when you look at, past tournaments, and him being part of the company, but never actually being part of the tournament, it's like, all right, so this year, remember that, Jeff was friends with Owen and they were tag partners, won champions and all that stuff. So this year we're going to put him on. If y'all felt like I was going to put him on, why didn't he have a series of matches to really, gain some of that momentum into going into this tournament? We haven't seen him in so long, and whenever we do see him, he's into foolishness with Statnam in them, and it's just like, it's really hard for people to just want to cheer for you with all the stupid shit that you've been doing. So this thing here about him being emotional about Owen, which is just, it's fine, but this is going to be just enough for people to want to say, I want Jeff Jarrett to win this whole thing. Absolutely not. Definitely don't have my vote in terms of wanting him to win this. If he's just participating, I guess that's fine. But I really do feel like this takes a spot for a younger talent that could have really, really done something with this tournament. I don't know. We'll see. Main event, Will Ospreay, Brian Cage, bored. Both of these guys are really great. The predictability is the number one killer here. And the match was about 20 minutes long. I was not expecting to get 20 minutes out of these two guys. I enjoy both of them. And I feel like Brian Cage does not get enough in this company at all. And it just takes me back to watching Will Ospreay, Okada, Mercedes. The second they walk into this company, they get everything that they probably asked for, championships, and they just look like $1 million right now. And then you got Brian, who's been in the company for so long, who hasn't truly gotten the best out of this company, and he's going against Will Ospreay to fucking lose like everybody else. And honestly, like I said, I love my bruv, but I've seen enough. I've absolutely seen enough. He's here every freaking week, and it's just the same old. And a lot of people are tired of it. They're tired of it. The chemistry could have been better between the two of them. I think maybe it being 20 minute is probably what killed it. If this was like 10, and this is rare for me to say for Collision, because what I always say is that I love the fact that Collision usually, for the most part, gives us lengthy main events, 20 plus minutes for the most part. This was just one of those times where I'm just like, I'd rather not see y'all for 20 minutes. I think I would have enough with just seeing y'all for a good 10, 12 minutes and wrap it up, you know? And I wanted to get into it, but I just couldn't. The whole show already was a damper with the predictability and something about the chemistry kind of just not being there. And it's not just chemistry too, it's also feeling like we just put in matches just to put matches. And it's feel like there's no thought going into booking the show. This is more of a, we're just going to put these matches on and people are going to take it for what it is. And to be honest, people are bored with that, Tony Khan. Give us stuff that's not predictable. Wow us for once. Do something that will make people want to come back. Dynamite did 500,000 in terms of viewership, which is horrible compared to what they normally do. Almost twice as much as what they normally do. 800,000 to 900 plus thousand, not yet breaking a million, but they do that number steadily. And then we got half that amount a couple of days ago, which is crazy. And you wonder why that's happening, Tony Khan? Because people are bored with the predictability. People want to see new things. People want to see new people. People want to see old people who's been in the company get opportunities as well. And when you don't do those things, people feel like they're just seeing the same thing over and over again. And even for me, who's watching and reviewing this all the time, I just feel like a lot of this stuff is getting old. And Tony Khan has to shake things up with the company. If not, they're just going to lose more and more viewers. Yeah, right now, Will Ospreay obviously retains, but I'm bored. I'm really, really bored with AEW right now. We got a pay-per-view next Sunday. I know that's going to definitely make things feel a little bit better, but we'll see what happens after the pay-per-view because, man, there's so much work to be done. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. Oh, I can't believe I actually watched the show twice just so I can remember what the fuck happened the first time. Guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. We're last episode of Who Killed WCW on Tuesday. So see you guys then. Bye.